So I have two little caveats before I start. The first is that sadly there's no wine in this talk at all. And the second is that I have cards. And I brought them up here because I thought I would need them. And of course I can't really see them. So we'll see how it all goes. No, I'm good. So it's August 1st, 2014. There are 71 boys ages 9 through 18 trapped in a rehearsal room backstage for more than 2 hours. A recipe for disaster? Yes. But instead, something happened that was incredibly, incredibly moving. It all started more than 11 years ago when the Madison Boy Choir and Madison Children's Choir joined to become the Madison Youth Choirs, and we wanted to continue to honor the culture of boys singing, especially in a culture where boys singing is often frowned upon or mocked. And we only had about 30 boys in our program. Our decision was, do we want to work with just a small group of boys at a really high level of musicianship, or instead, do we want to be a place for every boy and still work at a really high level of musicianship? We wanted it both ways. I keep saying we, but it's not really my story. I'm the boss, so I get to be up here. It's really the story of my amazing colleagues behind me and in the back of the room, Margaret Shanks and Randy Swingham, who have really worked to change this culture of boys singing. All I did was get the right people on the bus. We didn't embrace the typical model of getting boys to sing, running a rehearsal like an army boot camp, pirates and machismo and fighting. But instead, we wanted to create a place for boys, in Margaret's words, that harnesses imagination, promotes critical thinking, encourages empathy, and fosters creativity. So behind me, there are boys in a tree. Yes, it worked. We teach in a way that challenges and fires the imagination, that challenges boys with the same rigor as sports and encourages them to be open-minded and empathetic. How did we do all of this is the big question. How did we get to this point? By putting boys in top hats, of course. Well, not exactly, but we did do it deliberately. We set out to be a place that honors all boys' differences. We're a place for all of the boys, the sports-focused boys, the genius boys, the not-so-genius boys, the shy boys, the awkward boys, the boys on the autism spectrum, the boys that do well in school and the boys that don't do well in school. The Madison Boy Choir is a place for all of those boys. So how do we choose music to work on with these boys? By focusing on open-mindedness and deep thinking. Music is a great puzzle. There's always something to figure out and learn, always something to look deeper into and make a greater connection to. It's easy to just offer dessert, music that's easy to learn and digest, but we knew that the way to make a significant difference was to offer a menu of thoughtfully and artfully prepared music. Oh, it's a good one, right? Then what? How do we get a group of boys together and encourage them to care about each other, to lift each other up for the good of the team and for some greater good? By choosing music that encouraged boys to think about more than themselves, to put themselves in others' shoes, and by using strategies to get them to ask curious and be. We choose music from the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, castles, music that tells an interesting story. Yes, some pirates along the way, but also music with whimsical imagery and interesting puzzles to solve, and music with texts with a wrinkle or twist like this one. Mississauga rattlesnakes eat brown bread. Mississauga rattlesnakes fall down dead. If you catch a caterpillar, feed him apple juice, but if you catch a rattlesnake, turn him loose. So now we've got our house in order. Boys are starting to join our program, figure out it's something pretty cool to do, and our 30 boys are going to 60 and 90 and now 130 boys. But we're not content. We know that not every boy can make the commitment to come to a weekly rehearsal, and so the Madison Boy Choir Festival is born. Picture this, an afternoon of singing, boys grades 2 through 12, hundreds of them, like literally 400 of them last year, from more than 70 schools, coming for an afternoon of singing, eating, and an amazing t-shirt. It's pretty incredible. And then we went to Scotland. It's coming in a second. We were invited to sing at the Aberdeen International Youth Festival, the oldest youth arts festival in the world, where we met performers from all around the world, from the US, from Japan, from Azerbaijan, from China. And we sang very old music in very old places. And we sang new music in very old places. And our boys learned and they grew. And 18-year-olds shared the stage with 9-year-olds and helped them with their ties, of course. So, cut back to August 1st, 2014. A rainy, dreary afternoon in Aberdeen, Scotland, trapped for hours in a room backstage. What happened? Not a disaster, of course. We asked the boys what kind of souvenirs they would take with them home from Scotland, not the literal kind. And they talked and shared for an hour, without interrupting each other, without needling each other. And they shared incredible personal and emotional moments. There was not a dry eye in the room. And a senior in high school said, "This has been the best week of my life, and to share it with all of you right before I leave for college, that's especially meaningful." And a 10-year-old boy said, "I really see the power of music now. It has the ability to touch people who we've never met, who live on the other side of the ocean from us." And a quiet sophomore in high school said, "I'm glad that we high school guys didn't wear our tuxes for this event. I'm glad we wore these blue blazers and striped ties, because this is what we all wore when we started out in the boy choir, because wearing that outfit reminded us that all together we're a family of boys. In fact, I bet one of you younger boys right now is wearing the very same outfit I wore when I was your age. When you have literally changed the culture of boys singing, that's what happens. Thanks for listening.